The very real experiences that we have makes us uniquely positioned to say this is how we end wars.
Being an American veteran, you're expected to toe a certain line. And when you come home and you don't toe that line, you are alienated and ostracized at times, and I'm very fortunate because my family was understanding, but at times from those who you love and respect the most.
I think historically soldiers are idolized and put on a pedestal almost, and in a unique position to be heard by people who would normally not listen.
I hated the feeling of pointing a weapon at a family in their car, and it was my job, since I was the woman with the unit, to go over and pat her down. And just the feeling of frisking an elderly woman, feeling really ashamed for degrading her, even though military people in that situation have all this power over people. When you're actually the one in that situation, you can feel so powerless.
Learning the history and the facts made me really angry, and at the same time a feeling of hopelessness, because as a soldier I really felt that not only I wasn't helping, but I was making things worse. Once I came back home from Afghanistan in August of 2011, one thing that I was not expecting is my own battles with PTSD, which had gotten much worse. Try to survive on my own, and if it wasn't for the support of IVAW, I really wouldn't be here today, to be honest.
The Army's not really conducive to healing soldiers. I mean, their whole goal is to get them back to work as soon as possible. But when it comes to long-term care, real treatment options besides drugs, they're not that helpful.
I have a great deal of appreciation for Operation Recovery. It was through doing the outreach and through talking about that with other people and how it is important that we fight for those rights to heal, that I realized, wait a second, I'm not doing that. I, in some ways, gave myself permission to be wounded and to file for disability and compensation.
Chicago chapter of Iraq Veterans Against the War is hoping that we can spread our knowledge that we've done with the works with National Nurses United and working around making the VA held accountable for their mission, and their mission is providing exceptional health care to returning service members and veterans. We see this as a platform to take Operation Recovery to the local chapters.
Leading a march of over 10,000 people, Afghans for Peace, and members of the Afghanistan Veterans Against the War Committee and Iraq Veterans Against the War led a march to the NATO summit. And at that summit, we performed acts of reconciliation, and after this, over 40 veterans stood up and spoke to why they were returning their service medals.
We're developing a very clear vision of who it is we identify with and who it is we want to work with in the future to connect issues and to build power at the grassroots level.
Profit-driven violence is going to continue. Iraq Veterans Against the War being able to transform itself into an organization that is continuing to empower veterans and military members to to be a space for revisioning a society that rejects these values of war and violence and transforms it into something else.
All of the energy that I had was channelable, and if I could just funnel that into healing this thing I'd seen being destroyed with people who have the same heart, we can stop this.